4 seasons.
Mm.
So
4 seasons over 20 years.
Yeah, right. It's like Breaking Bad. That I don't even remember, like 6, 7, 8 seasons, whatever that had, but it was over a long period of time.
Yes, it was. So was Better Call Saul.
And Sons of Anarchy too.
Everything. The doing a season every fall is no longer a thing.
Yeah. Well, across the board, Apple TV is doing really well. I mean, one of the things that they started with, it's been several years now, is the series Foundation, which is based on Isaac Asimov books. It's very geeky. It's very Dune-ish tech stuff, and that just keeps getting better and better and better. And I think that we're coming up on season 4 or 5 with that right now. That's amazing series.
Well, Apple makes really good shows, but nobody subscribes to it. They're losing all kinds of money.
Yeah, because I steal it. So
Right.
It's my fault.
So do I, James. But let's not talk about that in public.
Okay. I don't know what your thing is with this.
Because people have been charged with that.
But just because I'm saying it, the fact that they can't prove it, they can go fuck off. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to start recording. Get back to the outline. All right, the dog decided to come up here and lay by my feet, I guess. We're going to start with Mamdani. Yes, please. Let's start with Mamdani. Okay, starting recording. Oh, wait a minute. Cancel. Captions in recording. Start recording. Start. Ta-da! Here we are again. It's the Leftist Lens, the podcast that everybody watches and nobody watches. I'm James, and this guy over here is...
I'm Matt.
Matthew Esquire Habersky, the third and a half.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what happened this week that pissed us off.
Well, yes.
Or encouraged us.
Yes, this is the first time. This is the first podcast we've recorded where there's been something good to report. Genuinely, objectively, across the board, stunningly good. I'm happy to be here for it.
Right, so we knew there was going to be a new mayor in New York City, and Zohran Mamdani took that one down. Dispatched with Andrew Cuomo, thank God. Andrew Cuomo, the day before, picked up endorsements from the current mayor, Eric Adams, and the current president, Donald Trump.
That's like picking up 2 venereal diseases at the same time. Why would you want that?
Right? So anyway, Zohran got 50.4% of the vote. So he got a majority of the entire vote, even though there were 3 people in the race, Mamdani, Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa, which, by the way, Curtis Sliwa's an idiot, but he's funny. He's fun to watch. I hope he stays on TV. Now, apparently he used to be on the radio.
I saw something regarding Sliwa the day after his loss, and it looked like it was from a legitimate source, that he's euthanizing all 17 of his cats.
What?
Yes. That he has said that this world is too cruel for them to have to suffer through, so he's euthanizing. I hope it's not true.
It can't be true. He loves those cats. I saw a video of him giving a tour of his 300 square foot apartment, and
I love my grandmother, but I'd euthanize her if the world became too shitty. So
okay.
I don't know what your point is.
All right. So maybe I don't have
anyway.
It's my favorite thing, New York City is just a city, right? But the reaction was global.
Yeah.
People globally were encouraged by his win. That's crazy to me. There was video of people in bars in California and Chicago watching the election results come in and then all cheering when he was announced the winner. A member of the parliament in Ireland congratulated him on his win and called it a big win for all of America. That's crazy.
Well, and then apparently some morons in Kentucky were upset because they thought that they could go to their polling places in Kentucky to vote against Mamdani.
Right.
And the AG, I guess, in Kentucky said, this is not a thing. We don't even have elections this year.
Right.
Fucking people.
There was a different reaction in Cuomo's victory party that didn't happen. They were big mad, and they were mad at Curtis Sliwa. They were screaming at him that he ruined the election. But I have news for you motherfuckers. Since Mamdani got more than 50% of the vote, if every single person that voted for Sliwa had voted for Cuomo, he still would have fucking lost.
Yeah.
So take that shit somewhere else. The people wanted Zoran, and they got him, and that's good.
And you couldn't have a better person just across the board between him and his wife, who is just a stunning individual. And I don't just mean physically. She's absolutely gorgeous, but she is intelligent. She is artistic. She is the person that needs to be beside him in the future here. And my God, it couldn't have been a better couple that represents New York City. It's amazing. I fucking love it.
I agree. And I think it proves that if people show up to vote in the primaries, you can get people like him. There are people like him running in primaries across the country. Mm-hmm. They're usually not well funded because the corporate Democrats put all their money behind the most centrist person they can. So you might not see so many TV ads and stuff, but they're there. Go vote in your primaries. You can get people like Zoran Mamdani in your city or county or state. You can.
And it's not just about getting people like Mamdani in, but I'm speaking more to the people who are still beating the drum that voting is a fraud and voting doesn't count, voting doesn't matter. It's your vote is pointless. It's all manipulated. It's all predetermined, all sorts of shit. Bullshit. You're an idiot if you keep saying that. You're just a flat out idiot, and you're feeding directly into what the Republican platform is, which is to decrease voter turnout, because that's the only way Republicans win is when fewer people vote, and they can get away with cheating.
Right.
Somebody pointed out. So this is how elections go when you don't have Tesla boy monkeying around with your campaign. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but he did mess around with that judge's race in Wisconsin last year, and he lost. So
that's true. Yeah. Again, it's about voting. It's about getting your ass out there and voting. That is how we change this. And you saw and I saw the speech by fucking Steve Bannon, who is saying if we saw what happened here, and if we lose the midterms, we'll lose 2028, and then we're going to prison. Fucking A, you are. Yeah, I hope that's true. But they're terrified of you voting, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse. If you're devoted to not voting in the midterms and the upcoming federal election and all the elections in between that may be happening locally for you, I'm going to find where you live, and I'm going to shit on your doorstep repeatedly. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it.
There isn't. It is. Voting is a civic duty. It is not just a right. You have a duty to vote. You should have learned that in civics class.
Yeah.
So yes, please vote. Anyway, when asked if Zoran Mamdani was the future of the Democratic Party by Jake Tapper, Hakeem Jeffries gave a Trumpian answer, right? I'm going to quote him because it's crazy what he said to me. First of all, he unequivocally said no. The first word out of his mouth was no. And then he said, the future of the Democratic Party will fall insofar as we're concerned relative to the House Democratic Caucus and members who are doing great work all across the country as it relates to our need to both take back control of the House, but in doing so, make sure we are communicating to the American people that we understand you deserve better than the country you have received. Yeah. I mean, he's right. We do deserve better, but I would like to point out that people like Hakeem Jeffries are just as responsible for the state of the country today as Republicans are.
In a very big way. And people like Hakeem Jeffries, after the election this past weekend, I think Chuck Schumer made the statement. I was like, Chuck Schumer's a fucking coward. Somebody asked him if he voted for Mungo. Oh, I voted, and I'm looking forward to working with the mayor. Fuck you. But the thing that they're co-opting in this, and yes, there were Democrats that won elections in Pennsylvania and Virginia and New Jersey, and they're framing this as a win for the Democratic Party. This is not the Democratic Party didn't put these people into winning these elections. The people that voted did, the electorate. This was a statement by, and especially, and you've got to single out Mamdani for this because he ran as a Democratic Socialist and he won as a Democratic Socialist. That is an indictment against both parties. That is, if there's going to be a Bernie 2.0, it's going to be Zoran without a doubt, and he is inspiring people left and right. And the other elections that were won they gave even more of a boost to the energy and momentum and the fear that has been instilled in people like Steve Bannon. And we need to keep making them afraid and just remove their power. Because one of the things Bannon said specifically was, we won't have a Trump presidency anymore. He won't even have 2 years. He'll be completely useless for the remainder of his fucking A.
Hell yeah.
That's what we can do. We don't need, yes, we have to endure all the bullshit that's going on right now. Like the dude in the black SUV that shot at the ICE agents in Chicago yesterday. We have to endure this stuff and avoid the temptation to give in to what they want us to do that would justify them unleashing more brutality against us. And then when the election comes, get out there and vote their power away.
Yeah. But we talked about Democrats. You talked about Democrats won in Virginia. Virginia elected a Democratic mayor. Did they still have Youngkin? I don't pay that much attention to Virginia, but he was a piece of shit. I'm not sure. I don't know if he was still the governor, but he wasn't running again if he was. But anyway, they elected a Democratic governor. New Jersey elected a Democratic governor, which isn't that strange, except for the fact that that was expected to be a very close race, and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Here in Pennsylvania, where I live, we retained our 3 Supreme Court justices, that the Democrat Supreme Court justices that needed to be retained. We did that. Other crazy things happened in Mississippi. 2 incumbent Republican state legislatures got beat, and Republicans no longer have a supermajority in Mississippi, so that's huge. Speaking of supermajority, in the midterms next year, if we can give the Democrats 60 senators, we can remove Trump from office. Just throwing that out there.
That was the other thing that Steve Bannon or somebody. Oh no, it was Mike Johnson who said they'll impeach him. He's going to be impeached. Really? Has he done things that are impeachable, Mike? Are you aware of this? He wouldn't be saying that unless he knew that he's committed impeachable offenses.
And of course he has. And you know what? You know what else you can do in 26? I'm looking at you, California. You can get rid of Mike Johnson. And Brooklyn, you can get rid of Hakeem Jeffries. All that stuff can happen next year. Go vote next November. All right. Locally, here where I live in Erie County, I just want to talk about what happened here. Erie County is considered a bellwether of Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is one of those swing states that's really important in the presidential elections. Erie County, Pennsylvania has voted for in the presidential elections, the person that won the state and won the presidency since Obama's first term. They voted for Obama twice, voted for Trump, voted for Biden, voted for Trump again. All of those people come here in election season. All of them, they all come here, which is kind of cool for such a small city. But anyway, so what happened here this year in election, I think, is interesting. We had an election for our county executive, and our county executive was Brenton Davis. He's a piece of shit. He's a veteran. He was a veteran that was a truck driver or something, but he pretends like he was Rambo when he does his campaign ads. Plus, he's the incumbent. He's been in that position for 4 years. He was doing things like taking people out of prison to come do landscaping at his house. just doing all kinds of crazy shit. Plus, there was a big fight over the budget because he was budgeting things that he wasn't. He was spending budgeted money that the council had budgeted on things he wasn't supposed to, things like that. But anyway, so he got ousted. But the way he got ousted, I think, is important. So when he won the election in 2021, 66,500 votes were cast in the county executive race. Last Tuesday, 76,500 votes were cast. 10,000 more people voted here in Erie County than voted 4 years ago. And he lost by 19,000 votes. That's important. Show up to vote. You can change the election.
Yeah, there it is.
But it's still, to me, it's still disappointing. So this was an off year for federal elections. In 2024, for the presidential election, 138,000 people voted in Erie County, almost double. So that means half the people that voted in 2024 didn't vote this Tuesday. But it's even worse because there's 174,000 registered voters. Those are people who took the time to register to vote, but couldn't be bothered to show up to vote, even in the presidential election last year. That's a problem. Anything short of 100% participation is bad.
I saw a clip of Mamdani doing like man on the street interviews, and it must have been after the election because he was asking people if they voted. And there was a significant number of people that he came across on the streets of New York City that said, no, they didn't vote. And he didn't ask why. That's what I would like to hear. That's what I'd like to see people inquiring of people who maybe voted in prior elections that are choosing not to vote now. I want to know what their reasons are. It can't be convenience, because we do still have mail-in voting. You know, we have early voting. It's the disillusionment. It's the belief in the propaganda that their vote doesn't count. Doesn't matter.
Part of it is disillusionment and belief in propaganda. Part of it is people just, it's shocking to me how many people are not aware. They'll say things like, oh, I don't get into politics. What does that
Politics gets into you.
Yeah, it absolutely gets into you. Just a story in 2024. It was in the middle of October in 2024, coming up on the Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump election. And I was in an Uber and I was talking to my driver about voting. And she was young, probably early 20s. She said, voting for what? In October 2024, there's signs everywhere. And I said, in the presidential election next month. And she goes, oh, who's running? What? I don't even understand how that's possible. But that's not good. That's not good. Pay attention to what's going on in the world because it affects you greatly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that is, because I've often postulated that voting should be mandatory in some ways. There needs to be some way to compel people to vote.
Yeah, we talked about it before, and I suggested a tax credit, a refundable tax credit.
Yeah, that's the simplest possible way. But you know, are you talking about you're talking obviously about a federal tax credit?
Yeah, or you could do state tax credit, any kind of tax credit.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah, we'll pay you $500 or $1,000 come tax time if you vote. I think they should do that. But I don't know. But really, people should just care enough about the world around them to vote. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. All right. The other thing is,
hold on, one more thing. That we're in the condition that we're in this country right now should be inconveniencing enough people who wouldn't have prior cared about whether or not they vote. If we can educate them that if they vote this time, they can have an influence on the misery that they're suffering. And right. There can be some mitigation of that through their act of voting. And so I think the discomfort that a great number of people are experiencing because of this administration and the climate that we're in could be enough to get a significant number of people who've never previously voted for the reasons you stated, to actually vote now, as long as we can make the connection for them between the fact that they're suffering because of politics, they can participate in politics and give themselves a chance to mitigate their suffering. The connections need to be made.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't have to go to city council meetings and stuff like that, although I think you should, but you don't have to. Just read the news every now and then.
There was a process.
How it's affecting you.
There's a process when I lived in Vermont that, and I can't remember what it was called. There's a process where the town gets together. They have a specific term for it there, where everybody in the community gets together to talk about these political issues and to vote on things. There are things that the town of Jericho would vote on. And believe me when I tell you, everybody fucking shows up to these things. They show up. It's standing room only. And fuck me if I can't remember the name of what those town meetings are called. It might be town meetings, I'm not sure. But the turnout for those things was always standing room only. It was crazy. And I don't know how we translate that into the greater election scheme, but that's the job in front of us, I think.
Yeah. Another big thing in the news this week is the SNAP payments. So I think we talked about it last week. The November SNAP payments weren't going out. 42 million Americans weren't going to get that benefit. 17 million kids were going to probably have to go without food. That's crazy. So what has happened? We talked about a judicial order last week ordering them to use the money that the USDA has in their contingency fund to pay those, at least partially pay those benefits. Well, a circuit court judge ordered the Trump administration on Friday to pay the SNAP benefits in full by the end of the day on Friday, November 7th. And the USDA started doing that. Some states got money and some people in those states got their SNAP benefits. But the Trump administration came in and appealed and then went to the Supreme Court and asked for an emergency stay so they didn't have to make those payments. And the Supreme Court granted that stay. It was Ketanji Brown Jackson was the one who got assigned that because the Supreme Court justices each have a different region that they're responsible for hearing emergency cases like that. And then the lawsuit was filed in her region, so she had to decide that. She didn't make a decision. She kicked it back to the circuit court, but she did grant the emergency stay, so they didn't have to make the payments. Well, today, the USDA asked the states that got the payments on Friday to return the fucking money. How the fuck are they going to do that?
They aren't. Well, I mean, they can reverse those EBT deposits and that. But I had a bit of an existential crisis when I heard that it was Ketanji Brown Jackson that approved that stay. And then I've seen explanations for what the strategy is behind that in terms of pushing that lower court to close up a decision on the appeal against it and everything else. I'm going to take that for what it's worth and let that be what it is. But
yeah, I don't know. I saw lawyer. I was mad at her, and then I saw lawyers explain it, but I still don't get it. I don't either. Their explanation was this will lead to a quicker resolution because it gives the circuit court the chance to rule on the main issue, the appeal. But isn't it eventually going to end up in the Supreme Court again anyway? I mean, Trump's going to keep
almost. Well, maybe. I mean, last week when we talked about this, the ball was already rolling in terms of the judge ordering those benefits to be paid in full. And I remember asking you, has Trump appealed this? And at that point, he hadn't appealed it. And there were conflicting statements coming from that fuck that he was saying at one point, oh, yes, we'll be glad to pay it out. And then he makes a true so, no, we're not paying it out. And until Democrats reopen the government, but the USDA came out and made a statement immediately after that and said, we are paying it out because it was brought back to the judge to show that the administration is willfully ignoring the court order because of the vacillation by that jaundiced fat fuck. but I think the USDA tried to save their asses, and go against what Trump was alleging, that they're not going to pay it out until the Democrats reopen the government. But at this point, he's already begun the process of these appeals. If the circuit court holds against him in this, will he then take it to the full Supreme Court? I honestly don't know.
I don't know either, but we'll see how that goes. I don't think Pennsylvania got SNAP benefits. I'm not sure about that, but I saw our governor being very upset at the ruling by Ketanji Brown Jackson. He gave a press conference and was not happy that they weren't getting the payments on Friday. He did, just speaking about Josh Shapiro, our governor here in Pennsylvania, as soon as they found out that SNAP benefits weren't being paid, he took $5 million maybe from our rainy day fund here in Pennsylvania and gave it to food banks across the state so they can get more supplies. So that's good. Thanks, Josh.
We should remind people that the food stamp program, the SNAP program, is a 50-50 thing, that there's 50%, at least 50% provided by the Fed, and then the states match what the Fed provides. And so the states have used their money, which is 50%, to push to those EBT cards. Because everybody that I've seen talking about it everywhere, people are asking each other, did your card get loaded? And they said half. So it's the half that is the state's responsibility that's showing up on people's cards.
And I would like to point out, in the big, beautiful bill, we talked about this several weeks ago, but that burden is getting shifted more to the states when that goes into effect. It's not going to be 50 anymore. The states are going to have to take on like 80% or something like that. I don't remember. Go back and listen to our old episodes and you'll find out, because I looked it up back then. I don't remember today. But yeah. But you mentioned Trump doesn't want to pay the SNAP benefits till the Democrats reopen the government. We've already explained in previous episodes how it's the Republicans that aren't opening the government. And here's more evidence of that. Chuck Schumer, not a fan, but he made a proposal on the floor of the Senate this week to reopen the government. And his plan was to take the continuing resolution that the House already passed and just add to it the continuation of the ACA subsidies that had already been approved for 1 year.
Yeah.
And he said, after that, we'll reopen the government and then we can negotiate reform to the ACA. Well, the Republicans didn't want to do that. The Republicans in the Senate didn't want to do that. Plus, it's not clear that there's ever going to be a House session again, as long as Trump is president.
There's a theory that's going around that Mike Johnson is waiting until after December 2nd to reconvene the House, because there's a special election happening in
Tennessee,
that they're confident that they're going to pick up seats from the special election, and that will cancel out Grijalva's vote on another issue, or at least. But
they can delay it until 2026. Let's put it that way, because Democrats will win the House in 2026.
It's funny because throughout this shutdown, the fucking Senate's been operating.
Yeah, they have.
There's no logical reason other than revenge to describe why the House hasn't been reconvened. But that's all this administration is this administration is nothing but revenge. That's the entire agenda with this, is revenge against anybody who stood up against Trump and enriching the billionaires. But
yep. I'm getting serenaded from outside. I don't know if you can hear that. But anyway, other things in the news. The ongoing shutdown has put a strain on the air traffic industry, and it ended up, they announced a 10% reduction in air traffic, but it ended up being 4% for now. But there's pictures of extremely long lines of security at airports because TSA people aren't showing up to work now, and air traffic controllers aren't showing up to work, because who wants to fucking work for free? Nobody. So that could be a problem, but that is how we've talked about this last week, but that is how other shutdowns have ended. When air traffic got hit, that's what ended shutdowns. So we'll see. This one's different, though. This one is very different.
They're talking, I guess, that 10% reduction in air traffic is going to increase every week, so that next week it'll be a 20% cut if the government's not reopened, and it's just going to continue to tighten the noose. But man, I don't know.
All right, the last item of import I have: Nancy Pelosi isn't running for re-election in 2026.
I thought she was dead. I thought she died a couple of years ago. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, well, she's narrowly avoiding the time-honored tradition of dying in office that both parties tend to adhere to. Anyway, I couldn't be happier. Goodbye, Nancy. I mean, Nancy did some good things in her career, but I'm sick of old fucks running this country. If you're not going to be around to see the effect of the bills you're passing, you shouldn't be in Congress, right?
Yeah. And what staggers my mind about this is the fact that how many years was she in? 40?
I don't know.
Well, however many
decades whole life feels like.
Yeah, however many decades she was serving, the people of her district in San Francisco couldn't find a better person. That's what blows my mind.
Well, I wonder how many times she was opposed in the primary. Probably not many. Because that's another thing. That's another thing that Democrats and Republicans both do. That they don't run against the incumbents. They just don't. Usually they don't. They can. There's no reason why you can't.
Well, on that, AOC needs to primary Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer needs to be fucking gone.
Yes, he does.
AOC needs to
Hakeem
call
Jeffries
him
needs to be gone too.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, and you're to get rid of them, you're gonna have to vote in the primaries, people. And I don't know when the primaries are. They're not in November. There's some months before that. You have to look it up. Look up when they are.
Yeah.
And you probably have to be registered in most states. You have to be registered in that party to vote in the primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Not every state, but most states are like that. So pay attention. And there's deadlines for when you have to register too. Pay attention to that too. All right, James, anything else of import?
There was a meeting in the Oval Office where Trump was talking about some scheme to lower drug prices, and he had a bunch of pharma CEOs there, and one of them dropped dead at the thought of lowering drug prices. It was pretty fucking funny. And Trump stood there glazed over, looking his eyes, looking away.
The picture is amazing.
It's the meme.
A guy on the floor being tended to by a bunch of other people around him, and Trump is just standing at his desk staring off into space.
And RFK Jr. sneaking out behind people because as soon as that guy hit the floor, he's fucking looking around and he fucking dashes out the door. The way Trump's standing there is that fucking meme. It's the meme of the yellow dog saying, "This is fine," where it's on fire behind him. It's totally that. It's fucking.
Well, I think Trump didn't even know what was happening, man. He is so demented. He probably didn't know what was happening. He's like, we didn't practice this. This isn't what is this?
Yeah, and there was another clip where I think Dr. Oz was standing there talking about the billions of pounds that
150 billion pounds we're going to lose.
That people are going to lose, and Trump is asleep. Sitting there at his desk, drooling on himself.
Well, not to mention, if Americans lose 150 billion pounds, it's like 400 pounds a person. I'm not sure how that could happen. But
oh my god, it's fucking pathetic.
All right, moving into the even funnier stuff. Today on True Social, Trump announced that we're all getting $2,000 tariff rebates. James, what are the odds you think this actually happens?
You have to. That has to be approved by Congress. There is no Congress right now. There's no legislation being moved through Congress. So he knows that he can just say this shit and it doesn't mean anything, and it's going to get his sewer dwelling base riled up. Told you so. Here come them Doge payments. It ain't going to happen. It's not.
I mean, I
going to
hope
happen.
it does. I think that would be good for the economy. It'd be good for all of us that are suffering under the extreme price sticker shock we get when we go to the grocery store and stuff. I hope it happens, but it
would be.
happening.
It would be great if it happened. But at the same time, I guess we're expecting the ruling because SCOTUS was hearing oral arguments on the tariff issue this past week also, and it looks very much like even by the justices that you thought were going to support Trump in this, they're very skeptical about the legality of these tariffs, and it looks very much, and we're going to have this ruling before the end of the year apparently, that they're going to rule these tariffs to be illegal and have to be paid back, and I'm fucking dying for that.
Yeah, John Roberts definitely made it seem like he's against them.
Yeah,
Chief Justice Roberts. So
if I had to guess, I think it's the only one that's going to vote in favor of maintaining the tariffs is going to be what's his name, Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, Alito might too.
It might be Alito and Thomas, and the others will support the decision. It's fucking madness. I can't. And Scott Bessent is going to lose his fucking mind. Scott Bessent is an idiot.
Yes,
Scott, I'm a soybean farmer. Bullshit. You're not a fucking soybean farmer. Your fucking hands have never been in the dirt, you pusillanimous prick. Oh my God.
You just gave me a word I have to look up. I don't know that one.
Ineffectual pusillanimous pretend friend of soybeans.
Pusillanimous. All right, vocabulary word for the day. All right, and you want to mention Pluribus on Apple TV. I heard Kit Laser talking about it.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I am of the opinion that it is going to be the next Severance level series from Apple TV. And by the way, people, stop stealing content from Apple TV. They're working hard to put these programs out. Do your part, you motherfuckers. Pluribus is really good. It's so good. I highly recommend. There's 2 episodes out so far. I don't even know what the schedule is. But also, and I don't think this is Netflix. The other one, Welcome to Derry, is also out. And no, HBO. It's on HBO Max. That is the most gruesome take on a Stephen King story that I've ever seen. There are 2 episodes of that out also. And the gore and gruesomeness in that is next level, and I'm loving it. That's also good. But
so that's good too.
Yes. Pluribus is top notch. It's gonna be the next obsession. And by the way, there's going to be another season of Severance, right?
Yes. And
it should be like soon, like early
2027. Probably
27.
I don't know. I'm just making that up, but that's what it.
We'll all be dead by then.
So that would be what, season 3?
Yes. That's too fucking far away. There's no future. What happened, dude? You just went totally dark.
Production is expected to start in the spring of 2026. So a likely 2027 release is where we're at. Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's about the time that the other Apple TV series, Foundation, which is really fucking good. I don't think it's going to be the next season till late 26, early 27. But that
already has some seasons though, right?
2 or 3 seasons. I think we're either on season 3 or season 4 coming up. But it's really good. You got to be kind of a geek to get into it. You got to be kind of a Dune-ish person. It's based on Isaac Asimov's books that I read as a kid. It's very good stuff. It's very well done.
Oh, I want to talk about something else funny. When I was looking up the voter statistics here in Erie County, in the 2024 presidential election, there were like 100 people that got votes for president. Like, so many people got 1 vote. Those are people voting for themselves. I just think that's funny. I've actually done that before. And to know that gets tracked and your name gets in an official database somewhere as someone who received a vote for president is funny to me.
Oh, fuck. If I knew that any presidential race wasn't going to be too close to call, I'd write myself in. But we don't have that luxury right now.
No, we don't have that luxury. Well, you might in Florida. I don't here in Pennsylvania, but you might. in Florida.
Don't make me believe that my vote doesn't matter here in Florida. It's got to turn around. Florida's been blue before.
Yeah, not that long ago. That's why I don't understand why it's so red now.
It's because of all the fucking boomers retiring down here. That's really what it is.
Well, hopefully a bunch of them die before the next presidential election.
Please die. Please die. Be more,
or at least become too ill to vote.
Vegetative state, please.
I'm sorry if I'm talking about your grandma, but seriously, I'm sick of those fucks ruining our country.
Everybody's got to go at some point. There's an old TV series that I watched as a kid called Logan's Run, and it was like a mini series. Logan's Run, the idea behind it was in the future, and once you reach the age of like 32 or something, you go into this vacuum tube where there's a big bug zapper at the top, and you float up and get zapped by the bug zapper. And and they make you believe like you're ascending to heaven, but it's a big bug zapper at the ceiling. You get sucked up into it. And we need to bring that back. Not the show, the actual event.
I don't know if you ever watched the show Dinosaurs back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But there was an episode of that where they reached a certain age and they threw them off a cliff. It was a little bit older than 30, but the episode was about grandma. She had to get thrown off a cliff. Of course, in that episode, they didn't throw her off the cliff. So,
God damn it. You had a good run, Grandma. It's time to go.
Yeah. Maybe I should watch Dinosaurs again. I liked that show. I have the DVD collection of that.
Yeah, my kids watched it. I remember I bought it for them. All right. I got nothing else.
All right, then that's it. Everybody, if you're listening at this far, my dog knows what that means. Nope, get out of here, buddy. Give me a minute.
Happy Veterans Day, by the way.
Well, thank.
Uh-oh.
Be back next week with more bullshit.
No, more truth and inspiration and all the good stuff. Anyway,
I guess I should have had that light on behind me the whole time. Now it doesn't look so dark in here.
Yeah, you went total Nosferatu mode there for a little while, but you came back. Oh, by the way, I watched the Guillermo del Toro version of Frankenstein.
Yeah, is that good?
Really long, and it's done in 2 acts, which is completely appropriate for what the story is. But yes, it's really good. It's really, really good. And I also watched another movie. I got one more. I watched another movie last night called Jane Got a Gun, and it's with who was the chick that was Padme in Star Wars?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. It was really good. It was really brutal. Jane Got a Gun. Highly recommend it. Go out and watch it. All right.
I don't have the time to watch all this stuff, James. I'll watch Pluribus.
You have time.
I'll watch that before next week.
You have time.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I could watch shows while I'm working from home, but I don't. But I could. I listen to the radio usually. But all right, I'll get on it. I'll watch Pluribus at least before next week. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a good week, people. Adios. Bye. Out.
We'll see you next week.
That was fun.
Just because I say we're done doesn't mean I'm done right that second.